Valve's long-rumored VR headset has officially been unveiled. Though initial details are incredibly light, the headset itself is called the Valve Index, and outside of that, not much is officially known. Valve shared a single image on the Steam page of the VR headset that shows off the name of the device and a couple of other features. At first glance, the headset features a COUPLEOF cameras, likely for inside-out positional tracking, along its front, and a physical slider of some sort along its bottom edge. The teaser page spotted by Ars Technica yesterday notes that more information will be revealed in May 2019. Valve has been a long-time proponent of virtual reality through things like its SteamVR platform, hardware like Lighthouse external trackers, Knuckles VR controllers, and general tools and improvements for SteamVR developers. While the company partnered with HTC on the HTC Vive years ago, Valve had yet to launch or even announce its own entry into the virtual reality race until this week. Newsbrief. Tonk Tonk Games, a development studio set up by former Disney and Pixar animators, has raised $2 million in seed funding as it continues development on its mobile fighting game uFighter. The studio itself has already been around in stealth a few years at this point, but aims to use the funding to set up an office in Austin, Texas, and bring on additional staff to work on uFighter. The seed funding round was led by Bitkraft Esports Ventures, and saw additional contributions from Modern Times Group as well. The game itself aims to expand the presence of fighting game-driven esports on mobile, and Tonk Tonk hopes its personalization-focused feature that uses uploaded selfies to create each player's in-game avatar will give it additional appeal on the platform. Video Game Deep Kisses weekly newsletter from video game industry watcher Simon Carless, GDC Gamasutra co-runner, rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include a multitude of best-of lists of the top games of the year, from the individual through group roundups to individual highlights. And there's also pieces on the current, the Outer Worlds Atlas, and the classic NES History, the quarter century of digital extremes, among others. Happy holidays to you and yours, by the way. Hope you are having a wonderful one with a little time off to click on links about video games. Until next time, Simon, curator. 5 trends that defined the game industry in 2018. Kris Graft Gamasutra article. The year 2018 lasted approximately 13 years. From studio closures to the Fortnite phenomenon. Here are the trends that defined the game industry in the longest year in the history of humankind. Simon, just note, also see 5 events that rocked the game industry in 2018. Staying with power, 35 years of NES History Museum Tour. Kelsey Lewin tour video, helping plan and curate the museum at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, was one of my favorite things I have done this year. This video is the guided tour that we never quite got to give, with lots of history and extra information. I'd also included a bit about our planning process and challenges we faced at the end, if that sort of thing interests you. Simon, as note, masterminded by the Video Game History Foundation's Frank Cifaldi Kelsey, and many others besides. This was an amazing pop-up museum exhibit. The creators of the Outer Worlds are learning to make better RPGs. Wes Fenlon, PC Gamer article. I recently visited Obsidian Entertainment to see the studio's new RPG The Outer Worlds, which I called a blend of Firefly and Fallout. You can read a lot more about the Outer Worlds in my feature. But I also talked to Tim and Leonard about their careers making RPGs, and how that experience and working at Obsidian is affecting this new game. Here's what they had to say. The brilliance of video game maps. Various Eurogamer article. Hello. Earlier this year, Thames and Hudson published a beautiful book on literary maps. It's called Writer's Map, an atlas of imaginary lands. A few of us ordered the book to arrive on day one, and as we read through it, our thoughts inevitably turned to video games and their own relationships with maps. Below you will find some of the things we ended up thinking about. Atlas is a pirate mode, where players run Theseus, Metcalf's rock paper shotgun article. There's a pirate mode on the horizon, and its CFARAS look ambitious. I spoke to project director, lead programmer, Jeremy Stiglitz, and creative director Jesse Robchak over Skype. We chatted about seeing to stave off boredom on voyages, player politicking, ship combat as a team sports game, and a plan to save every player before they died of old age. Heavily Pixelated, S01, E07 Shale, Heavily Pixelated podcast, hosted by veteran writer and TV host Scott C. Jones. Heavily Pixelated examines the moments when gamers are at their most vulnerable, and the ways video games helped them endure those difficult moments. Half Freudian-style therapy session, half celebration of a particular video game. When his parents separate, Shane uses a vintage NES game to reunite his newly fractured family. X is poised to dominate the next console generation. Jessica, Conde 10 Gadget article. Well, this is certainly a surprise. X has been the bundling underdog of the 8th console generation, playing catch-up to Sony's PlayStation 4, and watching from a distance, as the Nintendo Switch reignited the passion of video game fans worldwide. However, over the past 5 years, Microsoft has doggedly climbed its way out of a peer and reputation pit, with items like the X1X and the adaptive controller, as well as its public support of cross-console play. From epic pinball to Warframe, 25 years of digital extremes. Tom's in a PC Gamer article. Today Digital Extremes is known for its big free-to-play hit shooter, Warframe. But the studio has been around since PC gaming's early days. Founder James Schmalz started off learning coding tidbits from magazines before working alongside epic luminaries, Tim Sweeney and Mark Rain. Their story is one of a studio that has fought hard for the opportunity to create its own property in an industry that's often tough on mid-sized independent developers trying to break out. The 15 best video games of 2018, and released The Verge article. It's hard to top a year like 2017, but this year was also surprisingly strong, offering up an incredibly varied mix of interactive experiences. There are the blockbusters, of course, like the freewheeling Spider-Man on the meticulously detailed Dead Redemption 2. But 2018 was also a fantastic year for smaller games. Market correction in esports. Ben Fisher Sports Business Journal article. Esports insiders are increasingly convinced that many team organizations are overvalued and a market correction is coming. In the 2 years since traditional sports teams started acquiring esports organizations, faith in the long-term potential of video games has grown stronger, but pessimism about the short and medium-term prospects of esports teams is also growing, as spending pressures grow faster than revenue. Gamasutra's Best of 2018, Bryant Francis, Top 10 Games, Bryant Francis Gamasutra article. Amidst all the challenges, a lot of great developers put out some seriously great games this year, and we are getting a lot of chances at Gamasutra to celebrate them this week. Today, here's some of the games that your humble contributing editor video producer has truly enjoyed in 2018. Simon, as note, also saw some really well-considered lists from my other colleagues, including from Kris, from Alissa McAloon, from Alex Worrell, from Emma Kitwell, and from Graft, Frank Lance, director of NES Game Center, and creator of Universal Paper Clips, a Combinator podcast. Frank Lance is a game designer and director of the New Game Center. He co-founded Daring Code Games and most recently released a game, called Universal Paper Clips, which you are online that makes paper clips. The 50 best games of 2018. Polygon article. A list of the best games of the year is more useful, more thoughtful and more complete. We believe